Hello Motor Rider World fans, you would have seen from the video that I did with Bruce de Kock from Bike Tyre Warehouse on the previous issue of Bike Tyre Guru that we're going to be putting together these educational videos with each brand, just helping explain more with the adventure tyre market that's going out there. There's a lot of questions, a lot of issues that have been thrown up in the air that we really want to address with all the brands over the next couple of episodes. So first up, I have Mr. Keith Phelps, no relation to the Phelps swimmer with all those gold medals. As you can see, he doesn't really have the swimming physique here. But Keith is the head technical man from Dunlop, and he is here because I have a lot of questions for him to answer with regards to the Dunlop Mission tyres. Okay, so Dunlop are on a mission, clearly with the new missions. So Keith, a lot of issues have been thrown up with the new Dunlops. There's a lot of positives about the tyre, but as you get in any market, but I think more so in the adventure bike market, because of the stress and everything that these tyres get put through, there's a lot of questions here. So I've got these questions, Keith, that I need you to answer for me. First up, why was the Mission Trailmax developed? Why did Dunlop spend so much money in releasing this tyre?
Right, Rob, thanks again for having me here, and hopefully we're going to answer most of the questions that the riders are asking or that have been posted out on social media. First of all, the Trailmax Mission tyre was the most unique tyre design undertaken by the Dunlop engineers. And what actually happened was the Dunlop engineers went out into the marketplace, into the Americas, to rallies and to adventure bike clubs, and they gathered a lot of information. And the information that came back was three major criteria. The guys wanted a tyre that was affordable, a tyre that gave good mileage, and of course a tyre that could be used on and off-road without sacrificing any performance issues. So that is how the tyre was actually designed and developed.
Okay, so now another big question that everyone comes up with, it's a tyre made in a backyard in India or China or Afghanistan or Ethiopia. Where was this tyre developed?
Right, so this tyre was actually developed in our Buffalo, New York factory, and this is one of the largest motorcycle factories in America. Now, just to give you a little bit of background, this is where all our motorsport motorcycle tyres are manufactured, as well as our Harley-Davidson tyres. And being the Mission tyre, this was the first on and off-road tyre that was manufactured in this factory. So with a result, we had the machines and the capability of manufacturing these tyres. All we had to do was merely adjust a few machines, and we could accommodate in building the Mission tyre in our Buffalo, New York factory. Strangely enough, the Mission tyre is actually, the tread depth is twice the depth of the normal average motorcycle tyre that is built in our Buffalo, New York factory.
Okay, so New York, that's a good one. That's a nice one to come out of. What makes this tyre so unique? I mean, look, that's a pretty good kind of name to give a tyre, Mission, so why is this tyre so unique?
Okay, first of all, as you know, Sumitomo acquired Dunlop in 2015, which allowed us to contact the engineers for the Falcon brand. Now, as you well know, Falcon is part of the Sumitomo brand. And what actually happened was we have an SUV tyre which is widely used in America and is very successful on and off-road. So what the Dunlop engineers did was they contacted the Falcon engineers, and because this SUV tyre was so successful, they wanted to incorporate some of the features and the benefits into the Mission tyre. So with a result, we took a lot of the aspects of this tyre and incorporated it onto the Mission tyre. Now, being a SUV tyre, I can quite honestly tell you that this is a unique tyre. It's a 3-ply sidewall tyre. And why a 3-ply sidewall tyre is because it allows the tyre to be used at a slightly lower inflation pressure when going off-road and riding in very rocky terrain. It also assists with impact fractures, sidewall cuts, etc., and penetrations. What it also did was, because this tire is actually a bias and bias belted tire, it allowed the engineers to use heavier gauge material. Now, when we say heavier gauge material, you're looking at nylon and rayon and also fiberglass belting. And this is why this tire is slightly substantially heavier than your normal 80-20 or your 70-30 tire. As you all know, that a bias and bias belted tire is more suited for off-road conditions. And that is how this tire actually came about.
Okay, so let's look more in depth in this tire now, and to do that we're going to head over to the tire so that you can really just tell us and show us on the actual tire some of the features that make the Mission Trailmax the unique and special tire that it is.
Sure.
Right, Keith, so take us through now in depth the features of the new Dunlop Trailmax Mission tires.
Right, Rob, I actually brought us a cross-section of a Trailmax Mission tire. So as you can see, it has 3 plies in the sidewall area of this tire. It also has a very substantial bead, and the reason why, as I said to you previously, the 3-ply sidewall, it allows the tire to be used at a slightly lower cold inflation
And it
pressure.
still gives it that support.
Yes, it gives you the stability when riding in off-road conditions and also in loose gravel and in muddy terrain.
Okay.
Now, if we go over to the tires here, we can actually have a look. Now, these tires are symmetrical tires. Now, if you have a look at the 19-inch tire, you will see there's a distinct cutout in the lug. And there's a reason for this, is because this tire on a tar road offers superb stability in that.
Okay.
So what they did was they actually cut out there to give a better feedback from the road surface.
But this is my question to I'm not a technical guy at all. So while I've got you, how does you cutting out a little bit of rubber out of a knobbly give you more stability?
Okay, so what actually happens is because of the tread design, often you'll find when you ride a knobbly type tire on a road, it actually gives you quite a bad feedback because of the heel and toe that is formed and because of the lug squirm. So what we've done is we've cut that out to enable a flatter lug surface on the road, which gives you far better straight line stability. And then obviously on the 17 and the 19 inch, we have the cutouts in the lug. And then obviously in the 21 inch, you'll see there is no cutouts in the lug.
That's more off-road.
This is more predominantly for more off-road use. So there is no requirement to actually cut a lug out or cut a step out in the lug. Then what we did was, if you have a look at the rear 170, what we've done is you'll see we've got the wraparound lug. So the wraparound lug actually gives the tire rigidity.
Yes.
With the 3-ply sidewall, it really reinforces the sidewall of the tire. We also have the micro siping on the side of the lug area, which will give you better traction in loose and muddy and gravel surfaces. What we then did was we've got the 3 step downs in the lug area here. And that will allow you for better traction in loose surfaces.
Okay, so it goes from one step down to another to another.
Correct.
So grip.
So as the tire wears down, you're continuously getting traction from the tire. You're not sacrificing grip and traction.
Okay.
Then what we've done is we've also added the tie bars in between the lugs and between the lug areas, and that is to stabilize the tread area of the tire. And that will also allow for a more even wear across the tread surface of the tire. So these are just some of the aesthetics that we've actually taken off the Wild Peak Falcon tire and incorporated it into this tire. And this tire, I must say, has given us exceptional wear. And it's basically because of the features that we've incorporated on this tire that has given us such a good mileage on these tires.
So Keith, my next question for you is, what type of riding is this tyre designed for?
So, Rob, this tyre is basically designed for a guy that is going to go on a tour. He's going to travel on a tar road, and then he's going to want to go off-road. This tyre is designed to travel at moderate speeds, and also it allows the guy to go off-road and let the tyre down slightly to accommodate the off-road conditions. Okay. And this tyre, as I said to you, does carry a T speed rated, which is rated to 190 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
However, with the tread pattern and the additional rubber on this tyre is not really designed to travel at ultra high speeds for a long period of time.
Okay.
As you know, every time a tyre is rotating on the road surface, the tyre is actually going through thousands of heat cycles.
Sure.
And with this type of design, the tyre has to be allowed to cool down at intermittent periods.
Sure.
So this is the type of application that this tyre is designed for.
Okay, so now here's the big question and one of the big talking points out there, because a lot of people, including me, you think you just bang on a tyre and off you go. It's you plug and play and you go and do that. But there's actually some procedures if you want the longevity and the best out of any tyre. You've got to stick to. So the question here, and this is a question that a lot of people pose and that you can really answer for us, what type of maintenance would you suggest for this tyre? So what do people, you fit this tyre, what do people need to do to get the best out of this tyre?
Okay, so first of all, as I said to you, it's fitting the right tyre for the right application.
Sure.
Only too often we find guys are fitting tyres and they're riding tyres in the wrong application.
Sure.
Then what we do is, when we say maintenance, stick to the manufacturers or the motorcycle manufacturers' cold inflation pressures.
Okay.
This is of utmost importance, because what we find is that guys are running the incorrect cold inflation pressures. They're running at ultra high speeds, and the tire is not really designed to take that kind of speed at a lower inflation pressure.
Sure.
Now, what we often find is that guys will stick to the motorcycle manufacturers' cold inflation pressures, and then what happens is the guy decides to go off-road. However, what he does then is he lets the tire down. Now, that is what we call in the tire industry bleeding of hot tires, which is not really recommended.
Okay.
What then happens is that the rider lets the tire down, let's say hypothetically to 2 bar.
Sure.
The tire will sustain that pressure for the period that the rider is riding in off-road conditions.
Sure.
What then happens is that the rider will either stop overnight or camp somewhere. What then actually occurs is that the internal temperature of the tire then starts to cool down.
Okay.
So the rider now climbs back on the bike,
and the tire pressure is completely different.
Completely incorrect, because he is still under the impression that the tire is maintaining 2 bar.
At the 2 bar he set when it was at that riding time. Yeah.
So now the rider goes back onto the tar road surface. He's now heading home with a tire that is severely underinflated for the road. And also one has to look at the ambient and the road temperatures and the speeds.
Sure.
And what often happens is the guys are really whacking it to get home, and the tire's running in a severely underinflated condition and simply just cannot handle the load, the speed, and the heat that is being generated into the tire.
So why is that speed rating so critical? We see it on all tires, on your superbike tires, on these tires. You've just touched upon there, especially at the tire pressure is what makes that, I think, more critical.
The tire pressure is of utmost importance. As I said to you, tires, any tire, whether it be Dunlop, Michelin, what any tire is, everything works in conjunction with 3 aspects: load, speed, and inflation pressures.
Okay.
Inflation pressures are the most critical aspect of a tire to get optimum performance out of the tire and longevity out of the tire. Cold inflation pressures are of utmost importance.
Okay, so I mean, have you got some information with regards to pressures, the preferred cold pressures for these on the road and on the dirt? I mean, what should guys set them in?
Look, what we normally do is on these specific tires, once again, it depends on what type of motorcycle you are riding and the weight. And obviously, if these guys are riding panniers and riding
loaded.
pillion and all that type of stuff, one has to take into consideration the additional weight on a motorcycle. So what we normally do is we normally stipulate a cold pressure of 2.5 front and between 2.8 and 2.9 on the rear. However, if you are going to do off-road conditions, I would then suggest that you adjust the pressures accordingly. But once you get back onto the tar road, it is of utmost importance that you reinflate the tire back to the motorcycle or the manufacturer's cold inflation pressures.
So there we go. We've had it and heard it from Keith Phelps, no relation to Michael Phelps, a swimmer. And that's all the information. I think you really dived into that. That's perfect. But what we have here, while we were recording this, we've actually had a customer ride in on his BMW GS on a set of these Trailmax missions. So let's go hear what he has to say about his experience with the new Dunlop tires. Keith, thank you so much for coming in. That was really valuable information. And remember, stick around. We got a lot more videos, a lot more educational videos to come with regards to all the adventure tires. If you want more information, pop into any Bike Tyre warehouse store and chat to anyone in the staff here. But for now, let's hear from the customer with his Trailmax missions. So while we were filming, customer has ridden in on his beautiful BMW GS here at Bike Tyre warehouse in Midrand, fitted with the Dunlop Trailmax mission. Kevin, you are a customer that fitted these, I take it, a couple of months ago, and you're fitting a new set of Dunlop Trailmax mission. Just give us a general bit of feedback on your experience with the tires.
Well, I fitted the tires at 40,000 Ks here at this dealership or whatever, and I've done 29,200 kilometers on them. Off-road and on-road, mainly on-road. I do 10 kilometers off-road every day, and then odd trips. And yeah, now I need to get a new set because the rear's worn down to the stage where I feel that it needs to be replaced.
29,000 Ks is
yeah, it's
going.
brilliant.
It's
better than some of the other tires that I've had, and you get 3,000 Ks and that's it, and then you got to replace them. So it's good value for money.
So what kind of maintenance, general maintenance? I mean, have you done the whole look after tire pressures and
I make sure the tire pressures are kept close as much as possible to what the recommended tire pressure is. I don't deflate a lot on the off-road. I rather just stay with the standard tire pressures that I've got. If they do go down, I let them go down to maybe 2.6, 2.7, but never anything lower than that. Yeah, I've had one puncture in the 29,000 Ks.
And that's not bad, eh? That's really not bad. Give us a general overall feel out on the road and on the dirt. I mean, you're obviously confident enough to come fit a new set.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put another set of tires. Yeah, look, on the dirt, I've been caught in ruts and soft sand, and it's worked. They work brilliantly. I mean, you obviously you can get it full on knobbly, and but I don't do that amount of off-road. I've had them on the track. I've taken them to Swartkop twice. Been around the track a few times on that as well. So, yeah, I've done a bit of both, and they've been great tires. Love them.
Well, thanks so much, Kevin. Enjoy your brand new tires that you're fitting here at Bike Tyre Warehouse. And yeah, thanks for chatting to us.
No, pleasure. Thank you.